Danny Flexen here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined by the WBO super featherweight, or as you guys call it, junior lightweight champion of the world in Jamel Herring. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right, man. How you feeling today, Danny?
I'm good. We haven't seen you in action for a little while, not as long as a lot of other people out there. You've managed to get back in the ring despite the pandemic. I think what everyone on this side of the water would like to know is how soon are we going to see you and Carl Frampton crossing swords?
Since I signed with MTK in September now, we actually tried to push for the fight to get done in December. But, things, because like I said, the pandemic and things of that nature slowed it kind of down. But from what I'm hearing now, we're trying to get the fight to be pushed in early January, so not too far off from December. Like I said, early January 2021. But the fight's definitely will happen. It's just a matter of where now. We're looking at London. I know we're looking at London, but like you said, you may never know with this pandemic, of course. So it could maybe get pushed back to the States. But London is definitely the number one landscape that they're looking at right now.
And how do you feel in terms of building up for this fight? Do you feel quite fresh? Do you feel, are you glad you got that opportunity to get out?
Oh yeah. Like I said, with Carl Frampton, I respect him. He's a great guy in and out of the ring, in my opinion. But like I just needed that time off, because you guys know I was pretty much in like a 5-month training camp, because the setbacks of when I got the COVID-19, so I was sick and I still was trying to continue on fighting this year. So it was just a lot of setbacks, and health issues going on with me. But with the right amount of rest and time away from boxing and just time with my family, I feel a lot refresher, and my head is a lot more clear.
And you've both been out in the last 6 months, I guess it must be. Yeah, you and Frampton. Did you catch his fight at all?
Oh yeah, of course. I'm still Carl Frampton's #1 fan. So I'm definitely gonna catch his fights. But yeah, I mean, he got the job done. He got the job done. I know, like I said, for him as well, it was a long layoff for him as well. So it's about. I'm just glad we both got the ring rust off. And then we can come in a lot fresher for the bigger challenge, which is against each other.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like, at least on paper, the quality of opposition was very much in your favour in this one.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you. I'm not saying you had a tougher night at the office, but on paper you had the much better opponent.
Right. Yeah, I mean, Jonathan Oquendo is very durable, a very durable guy, and I needed somebody like that just to prepare me for a Carl Frampton fight, because, like I said, Oquendo isn't as skillful as Carl Frampton, but in terms of the frame and and things of that nature, he kind of met. And like I said, I put him down in the fight. He was deducted a point for low blows. I mean, for headbutting. And of course, the fight was stopped due to all the constant headbutts. But like I said, it was a rough night in the office. But I'd rather have got that type of rough outing for that type of fight than to have an off night or whatever you may want to call it for a guy like Carl Frampton. So it's in the past now, and I'm looking to start camp actually in a few days to prepare for Carl Frampton. So we're just gonna go over some things and just go from there. But like I said, I'm a lot fresher now. I had some time off. My body's recovered from the COVID, and I'm just happy that I can start 2021 now with a fresh slate.
And are you in regular contact with your trainer and your campmates while you're off, if you like?
Oh yeah, always. I mean, I was just in Vegas with them during the Terence Crawford fight with Kell Brook. And we had a great time there. I also wanted to give a shout out to Kell Brook. Of course, Terence is my guy, but I always been a Kell Brook fan. I respected Kell Brook for the time that he won the IBF welterweight title from Sean Porter. I was a Kell Brook fan, and I just give it, and they were just guys like that coming from the UK. They were very respectful in the end. There was no animosity. His team was great. I spoke with his father and his team. Great guys over there, great guys coming from across the pond. And so, but for the most part, like I said, I always keep contact with my team though. When Terence fights, I'm there. When I fight, as you see, he's there. So we always keep that that tight knit amongst each other.
What did you make of his performance against Kell Brook? I mean, it was kind of feeling out a couple of rounds, but from round 3,
Oh yeah.
it was a pretty elite performance.
I mean, I thought, honestly, in my opinion, I thought it was going to go a lot further. I thought it would at least be, get into like the deeper rounds before we start to see the wear and tear break, of Bud breaking down his opponent. But I thought he did a good job. I mean, even in the first few rounds, it was kind of a chess match because Kell Brook was doing really well in terms of boxing, and he just got caught, and the rest is history.
And it's kind of a delicate issue, but I'm going to ask you about it. And obviously, you can reserve the right to not talk about it. But there's been some issues recently, it appears, between Top Rank, who promote you,
Right.
and Terence Crawford, who's your guy.
Right.
Do you kind of feel in a bit of an awkward position in the middle of the two parties? And can it be resolved, I guess, is the bigger question.
I don't feel awkward because at the end of the day, I have my own thing. And, luckily for me, I have the backing of guys like MTK Global. So they're, I brought them on board. They have an extra set of eyes to make sure that I'm taken care of. So, but like I said, Top Rank is still a great promotional body. And of course, Terence is like my brother, he's family. But I believe that, cooler heads will prevail, and eventually both sides will come in the middle and just focus on the bigger pictures, which is getting the bigger fight done. Like for me, obviously we all know that the Errol Spence fight is a big fight, and Errol's a close friend of mine, and I'm looking forward to seeing Errol and my another good friend of mine, Danny Garcia, go head to head, But I just want to, for the most part, back with Top Rank and Terence. I know, like in the end, they'll be all right because even after the whole thing came out, whatever. Everyone was on good terms after the Kell Brook victory. So, I seen, guys like Carl Moretti. You seen Bob Arum get on stage with Terence Crawford during the post-fight interview. And remember, since we had this pandemic, Bob doesn't do interviews. He doesn't cut into the promos of, the segments of post-fight interviews for anybody. But, Bob put on his promotional cap. He got up there, said some good words about Terence being the best welterweight in the world, things of that nature. So I believe that despite everything that was said in the past, that they'll all come together and just do great business at the end of the day.
Now, you referenced the bigger picture there. What's the bigger picture for you? I know you don't want to look too far beyond Carl Frampton, but there must be ambitions you still have in the sport. What are the boxes left to tick for you?
Like I said, Carl Frampton is definitely a huge fight for me, and I'm honored to have that fight on the table. But you guys know from the time I won the title, I wanted to unify the division. But I've had a hard time trying to get like the likes of Miguel Burchelt and other super featherweights in the ring with me. So, my team has been talking about, even MTK Global. We've been talking about potentially moving up a weight class, and if we can't be a unified champion, maybe we can be a 2-divisional champion. So there's always that's why I greatly love and respect MTK Global for what they're doing, because they're giving me a broader idea of what's out there to come. So like I said, if I can't be a unified champion, I would definitely love to be a 2-divisional champion, and I have to still take care of some business in the lightweight division because that's where I started at as a pro anyway. So I would love to go back there and take care of some business in the lightweight division.
A lot of people feel that is the best division in boxing right now, up at 135 pounds. You deserve a lot of credit just for considering going up there. Who do you see as the kind of top names that you'd like to meet up there?
It's crazy because things always change hands. The best in the world at lightweight is obviously my good friend Teofimo Lopez. I got a lot of respect for him, but I know Teofimo Lopez. He plans on moving up because we basically share the same team, like in terms of our nutritionist. So I know he wanted that Lomachenko fight so bad because he wanted to take care of business and move up. But you also gotta give respect to guys like Devin Haney, who's making a name for himself. Ryan Garcia, even though he doesn't have a world title, he's very popular amongst the younger generation, of course. Javante Davis, another guy who I know really well, is making a big splash in the division. So, I mean, things like that, like just those type of, just being in reference with those names, and even though they're younger than me, it still is an exciting time, because like I said, there's a lot of great talent, and there's a lot of even good contenders up there still. I mean, Jorge Linares is still a guy. He's a veteran who's still around. That's still making noise, and the list goes on. So there's a lot of great fights that can be made at lightweight if I can't get the titles that I want at super featherweight.
You seem to be friends, or at least on friendly terms, with pretty much every potential rival out there. It's because you're a really nice guy, obviously. But is there anyone out there, even now or in the past, that's really kind of got your anger flowing, your juices flowing?
Oh man, it's funny. I think most guys that got like under my skin are really the guys that that I don't, as you know, don't even bother seem to mention, because they're like I'm not saying I'm bigger than anybody, but at the same time, like in a boxing dynamic, they always tell me not to argue with people who are like not on the same level. I mean, because I'm pretty sure one name that comes to mind that I think the last argument I had got to maybe on social media was Archie Sharp. Good old Archie Sharp. And like I said, it's nothing against the guy. He's doing what he has to do. Of course, if you're considered a top contender going in the rankings, of course, you're expected to call out the bigger names. And I respect that. There's nothing wrong with that. It's boxing. It's a sport. But sometimes these guys could be a bit, in my opinion, delusional when they think that they're highly better than what they are at the time, where they are now. But I'm not saying that Archie Sharp can't be a huge name contender in the future, but I think that's like one of the guys that's probably like got that is really not got to me as like, oh, he's breaking me mentally, but like probably the last conversation I really had was with a guy around that division or that weight class.
Good to know. All right, well, I'm going to let you go. I know you're very busy, but I'm looking forward to seeing the Frampton fight. Hopefully, like you said, early January, London. If we're all
I
might be able to go.
I would love to come to London because everyone knows I was 2012 Olympian, and the Olympic Games that year was in London, so I had a great time. In London. I have a following now in London. I have friends there in London, and just in the UK as a whole. I have friends now in Ireland as a whole. Like I said, speaking of Ireland, I want to thank guys like Jamie Collin. I speak to Jamie. A lot of people know I speak to Jamie Collin a lot, just about every other day because he works alongside with MTK Global. So he's been a huge help. I just want to also say, I hope that my buddy, Mick Collin, recovers and continues to do great things out there. And the list goes on. So, I have a lot of good friends out there and over there across the pond. And, a lot of people don't know, I fought Josh, my good friend Josh Taylor in the amateurs back he's back in London for the Olympic test event. So I would love, like I said, I would love to go back to that side of the pond in the world because there's a lot of great, the atmosphere is great, especially for boxing, and there's a lot of great individuals over there. So, like I said, thank you to everyone out there from Scotland, Ireland, the UK. I love and respect all you guys out there.
What's wrong with Wales?
Oh man, listen, Joe Kawasaki, baby. Listen, Joe. You mentioned Wales. I gotta mention Joe Kawasaki. Like I said, he's a guy that's earned my respect. Coming up as an amateur, I used to watch what he could do. He wasn't the biggest puncher, but he had the biggest heart. And of course, I got to give over time, guys like Carl Frampton won my heart over too. Like Carl Frampton during the Super Six wasn't the most talented or a guy expected to win the tournament, but he got to the finals and he's beating a lot of good names on his resume as well. So I do pay attention to everything that goes on across there as well, as you can see.
Great stuff. Well, we hope we get to see you face to face in January. But until then, keep safe, obviously, and we look forward to the fight.
Thank you, man. Take care of yourself too, Danny. I look forward to it as well.
Thanks, Jamel. Take care. Bye-bye.